everybody. Welcome to our weekly Work Together community blab. Our group members here are from our Facebook community, Entrepreneurs Globally Unite, which is a fantastic group for personal development and spiritual entrepreneurs, a collaborative community that's here to help. On our Wednesdays, we invite a star in our community to jump into the spotlight, and today our beautiful spotlight star is Simona Azol, which welcome, Simona.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for having me, ladies. It's an honor and my pleasure to be here.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. So my name is Michelle Reinhardt. I'm the founder and the host with you today. I'd also love to introduce you to the beautiful co-host, Andy Noon.
Hello, hello.
Good morning, Simona and Michelle. So excited to be here and to have everyone listening to us and to have Simona share her, I'll say, gems. I'm Andy, and I'm the creative director and founder of Scruffy Dog Studio, which is a digital media studio, but we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk with Simona. So let's get started.
Let's get started. Well, firstly, I'd like to introduce you to Simona, and I'm going to read from her bio because there's too much for me to commit to memory right now. She is a superstar. Simona was one of our founding members in this community, and it's been my privilege to watch her, not that she needed to grow in her journey, but to absolutely blossom and to teach so many collaboratively along the way, which is what we're here for. So she is a brand marketing specialist and a business mentor, positioning coaches and entrepreneurs to stand out in a crowded marketplace. She's been working in the entertainment industry for over 15 years, running successful marketing campaigns for blockbuster feature films like Spider-Man, Django Unchained and Terminator, and started her private coaching and consulting practice in January 2015. Which is, wow, with a movie background, unbelievable. Simona, is there anything you'd like to add to that before we start asking you some questions?
Yes, I'd like to add that I'm originally from Austria, so this is where the accent is coming from. And oftentimes people say, oh, you're from Australia. And I'm like, nope, it's Mozart, not kangaroo. So in case you're wondering, my name is a little difficult to pronounce. It's Xol, and it's actually a Czech name. And I'm often reminded I should have changed it when I was married, but I failed to do that. So I'm stuck with it now. So it's my pleasure to be here, ladies. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome, Simona. Before we start, we don't actually have a problem with your accent. I think it's really cool. Go in as much as you like. And it's really good to hear a little bit about your history. And over to you, Michelle.
Well, the first thing I'm going to ask, and then I'm going to disappear and turn off my alarm that my daughter sent me to remind me to take something to school for her.
It's funny.
So, Simona, when did you decide you were going to be an entrepreneur, and what led you to this path?
Well, it was stuff that was going on in my personal life, right? And so I was married for 15 years, and then it fell apart. And all of a sudden, I found myself at a crossroads. I didn't really know where I wanted to go with my life. And also, there were some changes at my work. And I just took some time out, and I decided to go tune inwards, and I did yoga teacher training. And whilst I was doing that, I was never really one for meditation, right? But I came out of a beautiful morning meditation in this beautiful space, and something in me just said, this is not how you're going to spend the rest of your life. So something is changing. I had no idea how that was going to happen, but I just knew I couldn't go back to the life I lived before. And so as fate would have it, it was funny because one of the women in the program was a life coach. And at the time in the yoga teacher training, and at the time I had no idea what that even meant. What does a life coach do, right? So, but we got talking, we got friendly, and I started working with her. And throughout our work together, it transpired that I wanted to embark on more of a journey of personal development. So I enrolled into a coaching and entrepreneurial program, and it was just going to be for my own personal self-development. But before I knew it, I actually found myself taking on some clients because I met so many great women in that program that were really, really fantastic at what it is they did. they just were really terrified of marketing. And I'm like, well, that's what I do all day, every day, right? So I can help with that. So that's how my private coaching business actually started, that some people came to me and I helped them out with their marketing. So that's how I got started. And it's been a very, very interesting journey, let me tell you, because even though I thought, as a brand marketer, I have it covered when it comes to marketing, it's very different when you do online marketing as an entrepreneur, right? So that's basically what I wanted to share with everybody, because I see so many people come onto social media and completely forget what the purpose of social media is. And typically, people go on social media to be social, to have conversations, to engage, to connect with others. And too often when we first get started, we forget about it. And I include myself. I made the same mistake. You just go in, you drop your message, you move on, right? But this is not how you are supposed to be engaging on social media. So that was one thing that I learned fairly quickly, and that is what I tell my clients, have conversations, remember that people are on there and they really want to connect, right? And not being sold to. So that's one of the main things. So I don't know what questions you have for me specifically, but
you got lots of questions on you. I think from what you just said, like in a way, you also like how we say that our teachers appear when we need them the most. We don't really have to look for them, and so it seems like going to yoga was probably led. There was a plan. You had to go to yoga to meet this coach to connect to you, so that you could just go and share all this wonderful stuff that you already know and have with other people.
Right.
So we've got. So moving on to the next question. And that's, other than deciding to work for yourself, what was the single most important decision you made that contributed to your success?
I invested in a high-level coach to get my mindset straight. And it was a really scary thing to do because I spent more money than I had ever spent on a car or on anything else. And I was freaking out, but I had heard so many great things. And I was listening to his audio recordings and I just knew I got to work with this man. So that was the biggest thing that I've ever done, and it's really changed how. And I'm not saying that I'm done with learning, because I don't think you ever are. You continue to learn, but that was a really big step. And once I stepped into that, I felt okay. I did it. It felt good on the inside, even though I was, my friends were saying, "You're crazy. Why are you doing this? This is way too much money." And I said, you know what? I'm just being guided to do this. And I really have to say it made a really big difference. We all have our little blocks that we carry with us. And it's good when somebody else sees that and points that out to you and gives you an opportunity to follow a different path and think in a different way. Not with, the programming that we have in us from, parents, authority figures. I grew up with a mindset of, you have to work really hard for the money. Money doesn't grow on trees. You gotta not stick out. You gotta be content with what it is you have in life. You cannot aspire to have more. So those are all things that are really hampering your success as an entrepreneur. And those are belief systems that are very deeply ingrained. And through working with this mentor, I am starting to eradicate some of them, or at least become more conscious and really understand that this is not a thought process that serves me. So I can stop it, interrupt it, and think a better thought instead.
I like that so much.
Yeah, me too. I think it's pretty cool that we are actually made to believe that, there are things we can and cannot do, and that really restricts us. So I'm glad you put that point forward right now and how it's helped you to break these barriers.
Actually, I think you've answered. I don't know who that was. Maybe someone is looking out for us, aren't we?
Yes.
Simona, you've answered a lot of the questions that we had. So if it's okay with Andy, I'd really love for you to just tell us how, as per the title of the blab, how can we stand out? How do we find that unique voice and stand out in an online community?
Well, there's lots of people, right? It's a sea of people that are active online, whether that's entrepreneurs or coaches. So you really gotta find the one thing that you do differently than everybody else, right? So let's say you're a health coach or you're a yoga teacher. I always give this example because I was working with a client that has a yoga studio, right? So here's the thing. What happened to her is there was another guy that was in town, opened up a swanky new studio and was taking a lot of clients from her. And what we worked on was really finding out what she does differently than this guy. So the same principle applies online as well. So you got to really look at what are your strengths? What is it that you do well? What are your people struggling with? And how does your product or service solve that? And then look at what is it that differentiates you from all the other people in your field that do the same thing? So is there anything that you do differently? And then really hone in on that, because so often I see, I'm obviously active in a lot of groups, but I always see, are you this person? And everything sounds the same. Everything looks the same. People are using the same words. That's how you blend in, right? What you want to do is actually disrupt so that you stand out, right? So that could be with just having your original voice being heard and not what you think you should be posting because you see other people who's it working for a post, right? Because that's not you, that's not your voice. So I encourage everybody to have to use their own voice when they speak in groups and really speak to the people that they know is their target market, knowing what it is they are struggling with, and then really coming from a place of being in service, helping people, right? So you see something posted in a group, somebody's looking for help with a particular topic that you're an expert on, give value, help them. Don't expect anything in return, engage in a conversation. That is how I have been successful, attracting clients, I have to say. And there's a little, there's many ways that you can do this, like say I'm an expert in marketing. So I could go into a Facebook group search bar and just type in the keyword marketing, right? And see what comes up. What are people talking about? What is somebody saying? Oh, here, I don't know how to market my business. So that's an opportunity for you to engage and say, well, what is it that you would like to learn about, right? And start a conversation. But coming from a place where you are not just going in and posting every day, because, and I'm very guilty of that. When I first started, very guilty of that, right? So I would post the same thing in 15 groups over and over and over again. Well, as well as I do that we can see this, right? So there's Simona posting group A, Simona posting in group B, Simona posting in group C. And it's, so that I'm just driving by, that I really don't care, that I just want to dump my message, right? That's not necessarily well received, right? You want to, for me now, I engage in groups that really, really resonate with me, where I feel there's a conversation going on that I'm interested in. I'm not interested in groups that are super spammy, where everybody just dumps their message. I actually want to have a conversation. I want to connect with people. And that's how I met you guys, right? I connected with you because we started a conversation in the group, right?
That's right.
So I think that's a really, really key thing for you to differentiate yourself by having conversations and being really engaged and making yourself valuable, by maybe even making friends with the group leader, right? Engaging, boosting your profile by offering to help, collaborating with people that you find in groups. Maybe you can join a webinar of theirs. Maybe you can become part of an online training. Maybe you can be a guest speaker at one of their events. You don't know until you engage in conversations and really start building relationships and networking. So I think that's really the way to stand out. And really, when you don't have anything to say, then don't say anything, because it's the promo day and you don't have anything, or it's the day where, X theme is popular in that group. You don't have anything to say, don't say it, because people will sense it if it's forced, right? If it's authentic and from the heart, people will respond to you. But if they feel it's like, oh, it's just another message that she's posted in 5 other groups that I'm also a member of because I've seen it, right? It just doesn't look good. And I think that's how you blend in. And also, when you are posting, watch the language, right? I see so many posts that say, are you this? Are you a woman that wants this, that, and the other? No, how about making a bold statement, right? Instead, that disrupts, right? So that way you stand out. But when it's so soft, are you a woman? There's 5 other people that post, are you a woman that's looking for this, that, and the other? Or so just make a statement, be it bold. You know, I mean, if you can back it up, you know, have a conversation. It will spark a conversation if it's a bold statement. People will respond and say, hey, I disagree completely, but that's what you want. You want engagement, right? Or people will say, wow, never thought of it that way.
That's a very good point. Like, you know, just making the bold statement and, you know, like being the visual way of saying it is to be
truthful. Yeah.
Yeah, like in a black or red umbrellas, be the yellow umbrella, stick out. And yeah, it can be quite daunting, I think, for people who, I suppose, join Facebook or start their business and they start marketing. So I do have another question in regards to that. So if somebody let's say they've just joined Facebook groups, they've just had a social presence, so they don't really know the rules and things. What would be your number one strategy or number one tip for them? That what should they do in terms of joining groups, in terms of their first few messages, you know, introductions, because they're very important.
Yeah, introductions. And then, you know, typically when you introduce yourself, there's people that respond and say, hey, welcome. And then you can start a conversation. Hey, what do you do, right? Show some interest and then comment on posts that truly spark your interest genuinely, right? Start conversations and start engaging with people, not just liking things, you know, just say why you like stuff, right? So for instance, what I do, I see a lot, I'm in a lot of groups where questions about marketing come up and people say, oh, can you tell me which of the logos you like best? So what I like to do, I don't like to just say 3, I like to give an explanation. I like 3 best because it speaks to me because of X, Y, and Z, right? Because that's ultimately what you want to hear. What resonates and why does it resonate, right? And it's not just, yeah, 3 is great, but why, right? So that's how you can engage in conversations with people.
Well, and also you give an honest opinion as to like, look, I'm not just saying A, B, and C. I'm just not picking up stuff. I'm telling you why it's working and why it's not working. So that the person who asked the question has got a much more clear understanding of what to do next, rather than, oh, everybody says A, okay, so it must be A, not why it's A.
Right, absolutely. And I often say, you know what, I would not have guessed that this is what you're selling, because based on what the image that you're putting forth, that's not clear to me. And if it's not clear to me, it's likely it's not clear to many other people. And, you know, there might be some pushback from people, but you're asking, right? So I'm going to tell you, and I'm a consumer in that sense, right?
No, I'm glad you said that, because I'm a bit like that. And I know, like, and I know you as well. And you know, we kind of like don't really follow rules on those aspects. And I really want you to stress that to everyone today as well, that it's okay to not follow the rules. It's okay to do what is really your essence and follow it through, because people will see that and people will be drawn to you. Not everyone will be drawn to you, and that's okay.
That's not your tribe. That's fine too. Right? Be in integrity with who you are and what your truth is, right? I think that's the most important thing. And obviously adhere to group rules, because that's really important. And that also shows that you genuinely care and you're making an effort, right? Instead of, you know, posting the wrong things on the wrong days and just dumping one promotional message after the other one. Because again, all you're doing is blending in, and your objective is to disrupt, to find what differentiates you from everybody else. And especially if you are in groups with thousands of members, you know, the best thing you can do is to provide value over and over and over again, because then what happens is people are going to start calling you out as the expert. And when somebody is asking a question, they'll refer you, right? So that's how you get traction.
That's very true. Liesl just mentioned in the comments that she does that with offer day and tries not to unless it's an awesome video to share. So unless she's got something of extreme value to share, very much stick to the rules. And you do get called out as an expert. I get tagged in groups that I really have very little to do with on mindset matters, personal development, and especially running Facebook groups and building communities and things like that, because people know that that's what we do. Right. So, but like you girls, I mean, probably not so much Andy, I don't think, but I was a shocker in the early days. I was very much a hit and run artist.
I'm gone.
I was the tagger, you know, tag and run. I was almost too frightened for anyone to call me out, to be honest, because I didn't have the knowledge and the integrity, or I did, I should say, but I didn't believe I did. And then came in the training to step into your space. We're not there to collect everybody.
No.
All our messages resonate with different people for very different reasons. And
like some people will go with what you have to offer and they will resonate with you, and some people won't. And I think that it's the understanding that it's okay to have those two groups, and you don't have to please everyone. But, you know, when you find your group, they will know what you're talking about and they will come to you if you're authentic, if you come from your true self and show the true self rather than, like Simona mentioned just a little while ago, being somebody else, you know, or just doing what everybody else is doing, because then you're not really sticking out. And what's different about you? Why would someone come to you? They can go to everyone else because they all sound the same. So, yeah.
And, you know, you hit it on the nail right now by saying be authentic, because at the end of the day, there's only one you. Nobody is like you. And that's your biggest differentiator, right? So don't be afraid to be you. And for me, you know, I don't know everything, right? And somebody asks me something, I don't know it, I'm going to say, you know what, that's not my expertise. You know, I don't know enough about it. Maybe I can refer you to somebody else. And that's the other thing, you know, the way to build community and to build your network is refer people that you know that are experts in that field. When you see something, I've noticed in some groups, there's a lot of questions that are coming up about fashion marketing, right? That's not my forte. I mean, I'm marketing films, television series, and I know online marketing, but I know somebody who is an expert in that. So I say, talk to this person. There's a person that I know that writes books and is a published author. So when I see a post, oh my God, I have a question about how to publish my first book, talk to that person, you know? Yeah. So that's a good way to give value and to also show people, to build your network, right? Because other people might start referring you for what your expertise is.
That's very true.
It all comes back to giving value over and over and over again. And then really, you know, it's that 80-20 rule. You know, you give 80% value and then you do 20% promotional posts, because, you know, at the end of the day, we all have businesses and we are interested in promoting our business, but do it in a way that is authentic and integrity, and not just where you're seen as, I just got to get my message out there, because at the end of the day, what that looks like looks really desperate, you know, and it sends out that energy of desperation, and nobody is attracted to that at the end of the day. At least.
No, that's absolutely true.
Right.
What showed up for me too was when I started actually posting with intention, with the right intention of connecting with the right people, of giving the value, and connecting into that universal creativity and connectivity. And that was huge. I started getting, you know, many more comments and likes and posts. And just because of that intention, rather than just flying blind and just because you're in a rush, and we're all busy, but if you take that little bit of extra time to plan, you'll get a far greater result than being caught up in the busyness.
Yeah, I think it's a great point that you're making. It reminds me of a time when I just zoned out. I tuned in and I wasn't active for a number of days because I just had nothing to say. But I had to tune inwards. I had to really listen to myself, what I wanted to talk about, because there was nothing coming, right? And I was like, oh my God, what do? I have nothing to say. But then stuff came, right? I just needed to step away from it for a while. And that sometimes is important. That's what being authentic is, so that you really post something that you identify with, you know, that is truly coming from, from a genuine place. Because, you know, and planning, yes, planning, you know, some people plan their social media postings a week out, or they plan it on the weekends, or they have themes. I oftentimes have themes, especially if I'm leading up to a webinar. So I know what I'm posting on every given day that ties into that content. But then again, especially if you're leading up to a webinar or some sort of online training, it's really, really important that in the days or in the month leading up to it, that you give a lot of value, because then when people see the message, hey, jump on a call with me, or I'm doing a free online training, they say, oh my God, yeah, that's that lady that's been talking about this, and that's really helped a few people in the group. So they're going to be much more inclined to actually learn more from you. The other thing that I'm not really sure about right now is the live streaming. And I see that you, Michelle, do a lot of live streaming in your group, and you let your group members live stream. But I'm thinking, you know, it's interesting because it used to be different, but now when everybody is live streaming, it's starting to blend in again. Because what would want me to click on the live stream of person X that I don't know, and I can see it's 10 minutes long, right? Who has the attention span? So, for you, it's 2 minutes, because I see in other groups, people just go in and talk for 10 minutes about stuff.
No.
Well, you know, you think about it, the person is not known. So what would compel anybody to click on that? And bless them for the effort, but you, as a live streamer, you got to think about it. So you got to have a kick-ass title, right? Something that really is hitting the spot. But then again, short and sweet is better, unless you're Kim Luna, right? Or Gary Vaynerchuk, who have a dedicated following.
Yes.
So I would really, if you do that, keep it really short and sweet and provide tons of value, and have a title that just nails that, so that people say, oh yeah, I really want to listen to it. And then when they look at the timing, oh, it's 1:30, I got that, right?
I got that.
I'm going to listen to that. Yes. But if I see it's 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, 10 minutes is really too long because I have to do other things, right?
So yeah, very intuitively drawn to live stream, and then believe me, it is way outside my comfort zone. So is this, but you know what? You've just got to do it, because the more you do it, the better you get at it, the more natural you become. And it actually, you know, I don't sweat nearly as much as I used to.
And, you know, it's great that you're mentioning this, because you and I had a conversation about this the other night. I used to be very much not comfortable with video, and I'm still not very comfortable. But as you say, it's very true. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get it. And at the end of the day, it's a chat, right? But it's just that notion, oh my God, it's live, right? It's for everybody to see. So, but nobody is perfect, you know. I think it's a way of right? No, I think it's really a way to be authentic and show who you are. Because, you know, so often Facebook is such a highlight reel, right? So everybody just posts about everything's fantastic, everything's great, I'm having such a great time, look at me here, look at me there, right? But life is not like that, right? And when you live stream, you know, that's raw, authentic you.
Exactly right. Well, we are at the bottom of the hour. Simona, just to wrap your awesome comments, 3 hot tips. Can you give, I've got one that struck a lot when you said disrupt. Yes,
disrupt, be different. And the way you do that is by using your own words and using really what makes you different from everybody else. Don't copy what other people are saying. Speak in your true, authentic voice and open it up, you know, make a bold statement. I mean, mind you, it has to be, you know, true. Don't say I'm making millions of dollars if that's not the case, right? But just ask a question that people have not been asked before. You'll see it'll draw attention. Engage people by encouraging them to comment or say, you know, use phrases like, do you agree? Or vote like, or do polls and give value. These types of things. What can disrupt?
Wow. Well, ladies, I would love to thank you, Simona, for joining Andy and I. Andy, I love having you, and your contribution, your presence is unbelievable. You're a gem. So, Andy, I'm going to ask you, please, to tell people how they can find you and why they would want to disrupt. You've got a minute.
Okay, so you can find me in like 3 different places. One is EDU, because I love being there, and I'm so grateful that Michelle's let me be a part of this journey. You can find me at scruffydogstudio.com.au, which is my website. And you can also find me at the Dreamers Collective, where I let people dream a little like me. And I basically do digital media stuff, so anything from branding to websites to apps. But my biggest thing is I like helping you know, entrepreneurs have that online presence, and have that confidence to express themselves visually. Obviously, people still have to put their hard work, but I like to be that a little part of their journey. So yeah, and thank you, Simona, for being here today.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure everybody's learned so much from you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me, ladies. It was my pleasure and really an honor, because I love the groups and I love the Dreamers Collective as well. And yeah, it's been really my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
And Simona, how can people find you to work with you moving forward?
Well, they can find me on Facebook under Simona Ksol, K-S-O-L-L. I also have a little Facebook group. It's a mastermind called Create the Business You Love. And this is where we really come together and motivate and inspire each other as we build a business and create a business we love. And then on my website at www.simonaksol.com.
Somebody wanted to do like some work with you. What is your usual like? Do you have like 3-week slots or 4 weeks, or someone can work with you on short term or long?
It depends. I have short-term packages. I recently did a course about Facebook ads, which is a home study course. That was a 3-module course with a couple of hours of guidance from me, so they can actually have a session with me before they set up the ads, and then one after the ads are running, so we can optimize them. So that's a small package. Then I have a marketing makeover package if you want to really jumpstart and kickstart your marketing. That's 5 hours, and then a 3-month coaching package, which is the high end.
Okay, so small package, 5 hour and 3 months package.
Yes, and it's basically for people who are really interested in revamping their marketing, reaching their target audience, honing their message, and getting the word out on the right platforms. You know, we cover everything from Facebook ads to sales funnels, freebies, all that good stuff.
All that good stuff.
And we do a little bit of mindset work, because believe it or not, even when you are a business coach, that always comes up. You know, it's always at the end of the day about mindset, which is personally what I am really fascinated with. This is one of my favorite things.
It truly is. And again, I would like to invite any listeners to join our community on Facebook, Entrepreneurs Globally Unite. You will find us all there, contributing enormous value to our community, helping entrepreneurs grow in business, in mindset, and in personal development. The key issues collaboratively and just there to support each other. So you're very welcome to jump on over there and join us. Again, my massive thanks and just lovely, warm thanks to Simona and Andy, and to Dee and Liesl and Lisa and Jan Marie and Ilka dropped in. There's several of our community members that dropped in to get a lot dropped out too, I might say, but they'll catch the recording. So just finally, thank you. Huge respect and admiration for the work you do, ladies, for the greater of mankind. It is enormous.
Same to you, Michelle. You are inspiring and you're such a lovely soul, and it's been my pleasure to be your guest and to be part of your community. And same to you, Andy. You guys, you have actually inspired me to start my own group, believe it or not. So, yes.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.